It's time now to bring in the tape donkey, the tape maven himself, our great Fran Duffy, courtesy of Ashley Home Furniture, Fran's Film Cave. Fran, how you doing?
Not sure about the tape donkey.
Dominic the donkey. Hee-haw, hee-haw. How you doing?
Look, I mean, a classic Christmas song, but I don't know if I can get on board with that nickname. We'll have to keep workshopping.
I'll keep going. I'll keep on the drawing board.
What's worse, Grabby Grabs or Film Donkey?
Tape muncher?
Grabby Grabs is worse.
See? So it's not that bad.
How about, like, what's a famously voracious animal?
The honey badger.
Tape badger?
Yeah,
tape
but I feel like
not
that's
bad.
overused at this point. I got nothing.
Tape male has worse connotations to it, I feel like. So let's not go there. You don't want to be Brendan Fraser, you know.
No, that.
Certainly not. All right, anyway, let's get to your thoughts here, friend. Before we get to the snappies, and I know we're going to break down some big sacks. I mean, just the defensive. I said sacks. I said sacks. You could take that another way if you want to. It doesn't. Big sex doesn't even make sense.
Peace.
Some elephant porn. That's not what we're doing.
After a roaring start here.
How good did you feel like that defensive performance was? Did you feel like you were watching a Super Bowl caliber defense out there?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking it through the most of the second half was that this defense is Super Bowl caliber, and you have to feel that way going into the playoffs. Like that's what you're hanging your hat on with this team and how far they can go. They're going to go as far as this defense is going to carry them. Now we know what this offense is capable of. We know what that talent is capable of and how that can elevate them in certain games. But there's no question if you're going to push your chips in on one side of the ball. I mean, this defense is humming right now. What they did to this Bills offense, obviously, look, they were down one of their most reliable pass catchers in Dalton Kincaid. You're dealing with the elements, but both sides were dealing with it. And to me, like, this was an offense where you knew, like, they're going to come in, they're going to try and grind it out, they're going to try and assert themselves on the ground. And the Eagles just shut the door on everything that they had to offer. They were able to hit on a couple explosives down the field. But to me, just an outstanding performance from this defense. And the defensive front in particular really, really stood out in this game.
I want to get to the front, but quickly, someone else who stood out to me live, and I'm sure you will look at this when we actually
can I guess?
22. Sure.
Jalyx Hunt.
No, because we'll get to him. But without Nakobe Dean, which was like, okay, let's see what Jahad Campbell's going to do. Man, he was flying around, and there were some plays where, like, you see him in the run game, like just shedding the block and then making the tackle. I thought it was very impressive, given everything that he has been through, having to just watch for the past 5 weeks.
Yeah, there were a couple flashes last week where I'm like, okay, like, positivity in the notes as I'm going through and watching the tape. But it felt like I was writing his name down often tonight, just going through this game live. I'm excited to watch him tomorrow and really kind of take him in detail. But whether it was pass game, run game, I thought he showed up. And it was interesting. Daniz pointed this out on social media and was texting me during the game. He tracks it, looking at like the personnel groupings. For the first time, we saw them go with a penny package with 5 down linemen, one linebacker on the field, and 5 DBs.
I know this,
and what they did was they took Jahad Campbell off the field in those instances and put Brandon Graham out on the field to rush from the interior. And I think that makes a lot of sense. And I wonder if that's something that they will lean into moving forward as well in some of these designed passing downs, the definite passing downs. But to me, Jahad Campbell continues to flash. I thought we saw some really good things from the rookie in this game.
And by the way, you just saw the pure speed on probably the biggest play of the game when he recovers that fumble. I guess outrunning Osiris Torrance is not the biggest thing in his cap, but still an awesome play. And also, you see guys mess up that recovery a lot. So that was a huge play. Okay, let's get to the front. And we already talked about Jalyx Hunt, but this is where you want to start here on the first sack that he has. And boy, was he a menace in this game.
Yeah, he really continues to shine. And I think with him, you're talking about his combination of length and explosiveness. He's still coming along in terms of like his nuance as a rusher and, their overall pass rush plan, all of that. And that's continuing to evolve. But when you talk about his combination of length and movement, he makes him a very difficult guy to block, especially when you're talking about his impact on stunts, especially as a looper on those stunts. And this was a great example here. Lindsay, let's go to the first one. It's going to be Hunt 1, where you're going to take a look at him. This is just a straight four-man rush from the Eagles, where you've got 4 down linemen. They're not trying to disguise anything here. They're not trying to, feign pressure at all. This is a straight 4-man rush on 3rd and long. And if you go to the next shot here, you're going to see that basically they're off the center slide. That's the side that's going to go win. It's going to be the opposite side from the center, because you've got double stunts on this play where the Eagles on both sides of the line, you're running what is called a TE stunt, where the tackle is going to knife upfield and the ends are going to loop inside off of that initial movement from the interior rusher. So with the center, and you could see him kind of turning towards Jalen Carter. It's obviously great to have number 98 back in the lineup. He had a nice clean win for a sack against Torrance later in this game, but he's sliding towards Jalen Carter. Well, now all right, if you're the guys on the opposite side of that slide, it's 2 versus 2, and it's basically like pick and roll for basketball, where you're going to play off of that initial movement. And what I love here is the first step explosiveness from Moro Ojomo. If you go to the next shot here, Lindsay, you're going to see Ojomo's going to fly off the ball, and because he's so fast out of his stance, these offensive linemen, one of the things that you don't want as a group, as a tandem, when you're trying to pass these stunts off, you want to be basically like in lockstep. You want to be hip to hip. You want to be what is called on the same level. And when you are not on the same level, it becomes really hard to be able to pass these stunts off effectively. And so if you go to the next shot, you're going to see, again, you're going to get Ojomo working upfield, with Jalyx working across and back in towards the interior. He's going to loop towards the inside. And Lindsay, if you go to the next shot here, you can see how these offensive linemen now, they are off level. That left guard, he's parallel to the sideline. You aren't blocking anybody when you give up that level of penetration there. So Ojomo flies upfield, and now that just creates such a wide open path for Jalyx Hunt, who again is looping across. Dawkins has no shot here. That's not going to be on him to try and see if he can block Jalyx Hunt. He's got no chance at making this block on 58. So Jalyx has a clean shot at Josh Allen, and he's able to get home for the sack. So I want to ask you this, Vinny. What is the hit rate for defensive line? You're lining up, it's 3rd and long, and because typically you're picking up on the on the line calls, protection calls as the game's going on. At what point do you know, like, all right, we're dialed in, we know which side, the center is typically sliding to, and what is that feeling when you know, like, all right, like, I would say this is going to be me? Because you guys were so good at running these stunts throughout your career as well.
Right, I would say that the percentage get higher probably around the third. I would say with your third position of being back out the third series. Yep. You show everybody's not everybody's on the communication. This is one of those, if you see something, say something. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So just the way you can see, like, even in this game, as the game kept going on, there was a rhythm. There was nothing they can do. So I would say that about the third series.
How are they supposed to block that up, Fran? Just switch it off?
Yeah, ideally you're able to switch that off, but when you are, that's why, like, when you are off level. Yeah. So like literally, if you're thinking about this, like, all right, this is Dawkins, and this is and this is the guard, Edwards. If Edwards comes down here and now all of a sudden, like, you're not able to pass this off here, right? Like, you are so far off kilter that now you have so much room for that looper to be able to come inside there. So that's too much ground for Dawkins to be able to cover. So you're not going to be able to switch that off. Like, there are very few tackles that are able to execute that. So ideally, you're able to pass that off, and you say, all right, like, you've got Ojomo, and I'll pick up Hunt. But when you give up that initial penetration to Ojomo, like, you have no shot as an offensive line.
And Vinny, we've talked about this before, but that was often your role was to be the dirty work guy to help clear it up for somebody else.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Because listen, when the D-line is successful, we don't just talk about one individual here. We talk about all of them. When we do Vinny Curry's beef for the week.
Yeah,
we usually talk about everybody, So that's the beauty of it, man. Especially playing this late in December, getting ready, as we get ready to go into the playoffs and this, and the way the D-line is playing, you're going to be mentioned. We talk about the whole group here, so we love it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it is.
And too, there are going to be instances as well. And Vinny, I can remember like a couple of plays like this for you throughout your career where you are the pinner, like you are the penetrator, the first guy that goes through. But if the offense reads that and they do pass it off well, now you're the guy getting him clean because they're passing you off to the tackle. But now the tackle doesn't get you in time, and now you're home free to the quarterback. So you never know when that's going to pop up either.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it is right now a defensive line that can win individual matchups with Jaylen Carter and sometimes Jaylen Phillips. Although Jaylen Phillips, I will say, has done that a little bit less recently. But Moro Ojomo and Jalyx, but also they work very well together, and so there are lots of ways for them to win as a group, as pass rushers.
No question. Yeah, it's a really good group, especially when you then factor in the fact that the secondary and the back seven is humming the way that they are, like in terms of like the pass offs and zone coverage, and we'll get to that here in a little bit. But when you've got both ends of the defense starting to hold up their end of the bargain like that, those pressure numbers are going to continue to mount. And this was a great example of it in this game.
Fran, before we get to the next play, the Cooper DeJean, it was a fumble that didn't end up counting.
What an awesome play!
Why don't more guys do that?
Oh, it was such a good play. I was
so
literally sitting there with Francis. I was like, yelling. I'm like, what a great play. And he's like, what?
Such a good play.
What a smart player.
Unbelievable play. It's a shame that it got overturned, but to me, like incredible heads up play to take out the Bill that was going to potentially jump on the football. Outstanding play by DeJean.
Yeah, so smart. Blew me away.
All right, let's get to the fumble that the Eagles did recover, which was courtesy of Jaelan Phillips and Jahad Campbell. What did you see on that one?
Yeah, I mean, this one is a really good example of the coverage with the rush kind of working together there, where you're going to get a good example of, those guys kind of working in concert. Because on this play, and on this one, Lindsay, this is fumble one. So if you see this play initially, the first read is off play action, off under center play action. Josh Allen wants to go to the flat. So you have a tight end working in the flat. That's the first read here on this play. But he gets his eyes off that pretty quickly. It's second and short. So he's like, all right, I can take a chance here down the field. It's kind of like it's the inverse of running on third and long and having the coward's draw. Like, hey, second and short, we can afford to take a risk down the field because we know we've got third and short if there's an incomplete pass. So he's got his eyes downfield here. So once that play is taken away, what he really wants is the receiver that is releasing inside the formation. So, Lindsay, if you go to the next shot here, you're going to see that Shakir, he's going to work inside the tight end there, and DeJean is going to pick him up. So he's going to work through the muck here, the wide receiver, get up to the second level. But DeJean does an outstanding job. If you go to the next shot, of impacting the receiver within three. You can see it very clearly here. He's within 3 yards, within 2 yards here of the line of scrimmage. So he's perfectly fine on this play, especially as the quarterback is breaking the pocket. He's not going to get flagged on this play. So he really affects the timing of this for Josh Allen. That's going to be the receiver that he's ultimately trying to get this ball to. But as Josh Allen now starts to break the pocket, we'll go to the next shot. The first guy that's going to try and impact him is going to be Jalen Carter. And obviously we can't show it here in a screen grab, but the explosiveness that Carter shows here, playing through contact and surging into the backfield, he forces Allen to hold on to the ball a little bit longer. So Allen now further has to extend. So he's got to extend and he keeps rolling. Let's go to the next shot. And now you've got Jaelan Phillips doing the same thing. You see Allen pointing downfield. He's trying to get back on the same page as Shakir, who again, DeJean is locking up on the back end. I'm excited to see this from the All-22 later, but he's trying to get back on the same page as Shakir. And you could see, like, all right, now here comes Phillips. And now Phillips comes flying in. And we know, all right, Phillips ends up knocking this ball and it becomes a sack fumble. Take note, and Bo, you did a great job pointing this out earlier, Jahad Campbell. Jahad Campbell's right on the blue line here, right on the right hash. So that's where he is at the starting point. The ball has not been knocked out on the ground. Lindsay, if you go to the next shot, you can see right at the point of the sack, Jahad Campbell's he's like, all right, big play, sack. He slows up, which is fine. He's slowing up. Jordan Davis is slowing up. Those guys were chasing out to the perimeter. It's a sack, a big play here. But now the ball's out. And this was just unbelievable from Jahad Campbell. We go to the next shot here. And he goes full sprint. And he takes one peek. And once he sees, I'm just racing against the big guys here, he knows he's got it, and he just makes a beeline for this ball. It was just an outstanding effort. He'll get praise for that, certainly, in the meeting rooms here this week. If he had lost that foot race, I'm sure he would have been hearing it on the other end of it. Yeah. But outstanding job from Jahad Campbell. But this was a team effort play. Like I said, I'm excited to see the coverage on the back end, but everybody doing their job within the first 3 to 4 seconds results in a huge play for the defense 7 seconds into the play.
I got to tell you, if I was a Bills fan, look, having Josh Allen as your quarterback is awesome. He makes some boneheaded decisions quite frequently. I'm not saying I wouldn't take the guy, but like, what the hell are you doing there?
If I was a Bills fan, somebody would have got put through the table.
Like pump fake,
the table the table.
Oh yeah, I know.
Like pump fake and go down by like the crotch. Like, what are you doing? Stop being a hot dog.
We can get into like team
he's great.
construction.
Yeah, one of the best quarterbacks. He'll probably
you take it, but like
you got other sources of depression.
That sack that he took, like a lot of dumb plays.
Well, speaking of arguably dumb plays by Josh Allen, let's break down the big sack by Jalyx Hunt. That was like a 19-yard loss. What'd you see?
19-yard loss. Yeah, which ended up, I mean, at the end of the day, like
it's third down.
Like they were upset by it, but kind of it was a bad sack to take. But in terms of like, I don't know what the win probability was in terms of
it's third down.
That
you actually can take a sack.
Yes,
you don't want to go out of field goal range necessarily, but
you don't want it to be a 19-yard loss. Yeah, exactly right. But let's go to the first one here, Lindsay. It's Allen 1, and the Eagles. Look, they're playing one of their bread and butter coverages. It's cover 6. And you're going to get basically cover 2 to the boundary side of the field. So you've got Quinyon Mitchell at the bottom of the screen, and you've got Reed Blankenship shadowed over him as a cover 2 safety. So it's basically like clouding the safety over Quinyon Mitchell on that side. And now you've got Marcus Epps and Adoree Jackson playing quarters to the top of the screen. So this is going to be straight zone coverage. You've got those three. You have 3 defenders underneath, and DeJean, Bond, and Jahad Campbell with a straight 4-man rush. Those guys, you can tell, we're kind of just making sure, all right, we're going to contain Josh Allen here on this play. It's empty. We want to make sure we don't let him out of the pocket here on this play. If we go to the next shot, Allen never looks to Quinyon Mitchell's side. He's like, all right, I'm not even looking that direction. I'm going to work the 3-man side here of this play. And what he's got, what I think he wants is the pivot route coming from Shakir, where he's going to work back towards the sideline. DeJean's all over that. So DeJean does a nice job of sitting on top of that route. Brady gave him praise for that in the replay here. You've got Brandon Cooks coming on the shallow cross. That's going to get picked up by both linebackers there, and Bond and Campbell. And then you've got the corner route from Dawson Knox. He's going to break, but he hits the hash mark and then immediately pivots and breaks vertically down the field. So I think he's kind of working that side where he's looking at Knox and then at Shakir, and it's going to be kind of a high-low read. But the coverage is just, it completely knocks out. I used Brady's illustration. If we go to the last one here, just because the circles were just, look, great. A Hall of Fame quarterback, maybe the best quarterback of all time.
Terrible
Not
circles.
The best artist. His circles in the telestrator still need a lot of work. But
that's
I think when you're looking
at
it was rough go with the telestrator. But that said, the coverage was lockdown. He had nowhere to go with the football. He's trying to make a play. He had the check down like far underneath, but even then, like you had Quinyon Mitchell right there. You had Jahad Campbell right there. To me, this is one he's trying to go and make a play. They're down by 2 scores, so he's hoping to extend. And then Jalyx Hunt. I mean, again, talking about his length and his explosiveness, he's able to get home and create a huge play.
But if they kick a field goal, they win easy.
First play from scrimmage of the Bears 49ers game is Brock Purdy throwing a pick 6 to TJ Edwards.
Oh, the best quarterback in football, Brock Purdy.
That's right.
That's some San Francisco reporters will say.
Sorry.
And again, just a reminder, if the Bears win that game, Eagles are locked into the 3 seed no matter what. So we'll certainly rest their guys in Week 18, we would think. It's funny because we've been talking about Eagles and Texans, the 2 best defenses in football. Just looking at the Bills' offensive performances this year, 2 stand out as their worst by far, and it is the Texans and the Eagles games. And actually, by the numbers, it's very similar. Their success rate against the Texans was just a touch lower. Same with EPA per drive. They scored 19 points in that game versus 12 in this game. And it like both of those 2 defenses really relished the challenge of going up against this Bills defense and show that well. I like. There are so many guys to shout out. Like Cooper DeJean was all over the place in this game. Yep. Jaylen Carter getting back made a big difference. I actually wish that we saw more Jordan Davis than we did. It felt like his playing time did go down, and I think affected the run defense a couple times.
A lot of Byron Young.
Yeah, probably too much Byron Young.
Maybe they trying to keep that price down.
But yeah, I mean it's an awesome defense. Then we can talk about the offense, Fran. So as you were watching the second half, what bothered you the most?
I mean, what bothered me the most is a tough question to answer. I will say, like, I felt good by the fact that they had the 3rd best success rate of the season against Washington last week. Like, that made me feel better because I was like, oh, well, they had a great performance against Washington last week. They're like, all is right in the world.
Look at you, cherry pick.
In seriousness, I will say, to me, like, look, they it's the same issues that we've talked about, and it's, we talked with Daniz on what was it? It was Tuesday, whatever it was. Right? Yeah, the Tuesday show. And when we talked about the different versions of this offense and both paths to take, right? Where it's like, oh, well, do they lean into becoming like under center play action shot play offense and like create big chunks? Or do they basically become like, all right, hey, we're going to stay with what we've been, which is we're going to try and like operate, like be a half field read, like quick game offense. And then like the big plays come from scramble drill. To me, like I will take the volatility of the big chunk plays over the latter, even though like the latter has worked at some in the past. To me, like because the run game is not there. Again, like there's another example, like offensive linemen losing point of attack, like tight ends. It's the same issues, the same things we've talked about all season long. Like Saquon individually looks really, really good, but the ecosystem around him is not great. I think they need to lean into being hey, like let's get chunk plays and be volatile that way, where it's like, hey, we're gonna try and hit post crosses like they saw in the first half. Like they hit on some designed shot plays mostly from under center. We'll go back and like chart every single play, in terms of like the ratios and things like that. But we saw a number of under center shots. The one big play to AJ Brown was an under center shot play on a post route. Nice design, like where the flow is going right, and yet AJ coming left. It was well designed. To me, like that is the way I personally would lean, as opposed to going the opposite way. Because I feel like there is more volatility from a negative standpoint in saying, hey, you know what? Like we're gonna call it double slant, and like when I think, okay, here's a good example. Think back to the 2020 offense, which is the offense that it was been most like connected to, right? In terms of like recent Eagles memory, in terms of the how often they go 3 and out, and like a lot of the issues we've seen. That offense, like you guys used to refer to it as the bog offense, right? Like it was dink and dunk, and everything was like, all right, we're just gonna chip away, chip away, chip away. This offense, the details are not good enough for them to chip away. This isn't like chip away offense. This isn't an offense that I feel good about saying stack 12 play drives, 14 play drives, 17 play drives, and they're going to be able to matriculate the ball down the field. This is a chunk play offense. This is a we want big plays to AJ, big plays to Devontae. So whatever puts you in position to better get those big plays, that's the path that I would want to take. And to me, like that's what we didn't see last week conceptually. I think first half, we saw that. I'm excited to go back into the film. And, look, I know like one of the drives started at the 1 yard line, and that's going to affect play calling, things like that. But I mean, what was it? It was what did we tweet out? It was like 17 plays in the second half for 17 yards. It was a bad performance offensively.
Fran, do your next gen stat, do they show? I just felt like every time they had a fullback back there, it was a 6 yard or more yard run. I'm curious to see, I mean, next time I see you, we can talk about it, but I'm just curious to see what is that stat.
Yeah, that's something I'll be interested to see, Vinny. And there were some times where it was Dallas Goedert back there, which was a little bit new. But then there was obviously Latu is the big one. We're like, all right, when Latu's on the field in the backfield, there were some where he would run like to the weak side where he's going to block someone on the backside, and then you had Saquon going right, or sometimes where he's the lead blocker in the hole for Saquon, and they were able to hit on a couple of those. So I'm interested to see what the numbers look like from that standpoint, but. Overall, I mean, it was again like there was that drive late and that's why I messaged EJ and I said like EJ, like what's the weather right now? Like is it like raining right now? And he said no, like it's pretty mild. But that was the drive where they went run, and it was like 3rd and 8, and then they threw, and it was I think a scramble and a throwaway. It's like, man, like you needed at least one first down on that drive. Like at least they tried to get some kind of momentum, and they just could not get that done.
According to True Media, so 508 performances, like games this season on offense, just across the NFL. The Eagles' success rate in this game, 29.6%, 488th out of 508. So really one of the worst offensive performances of the season. And yet they come away with a win. They keep finding a way to do it.
And that's, at the end of the day, obviously that is what matters most. But it's not about getting wins. It's not about getting wins in November. It's not about getting wins in December. It's about getting wins in January and February. And so if Josh Allen, if they complete that pass for a 2-point conversion, I would imagine that the conversation is much more negative than what we're having right now.
Bo would have been going crazy on this one.
No, honestly, I didn't feel that badly, even if they had lost that game. Like,
but I'm saying, like, I agree with you, and I said I was explaining it to Meg. I was like, it doesn't matter. That's why they're going for 2, because at the end of the day, like,
yeah,
they both teams want to be healthy here, going into the postseason. But at the end of the day, like, we should they can't just be judging like, oh yeah, we won based off that individual play, that one outcome
based
of that
on
one play. Right?
Shakir is open, so
Yes,
like Allen could make that throw, and if Jalen Carter doesn't block an extra point, they lose the game, right? And so don't pretend like the whole process was good just because we won the game.
France.
Yeah, it's one of those things where they're going to have to continue to try and figure this out. I've got one, just looking at the offense. I got one number from Next Gen Stats here. I have not read this all the way through, so I'm just gonna blurt this out. This is Jalyx Hunt. So Jalyx Hunt was sacked once, did not complete any of his 7 passes in the second half in the Eagles' Week 17 win over the Bills. This marks the second game this season in which Hurts did not complete a second half pass, and the Eagles emerged victorious, including their Week 4 win over the Bucs when Hurts went 0 for 8 in the second half. Entering Sunday night of Week 17, no other offense in the NFL has failed to complete a second half pass in a game this season, period. They've done it twice and won the game. Hurts faced 5 pressures on 8 dropbacks in the second half, matching the total number of pressures he faced across his first 21 dropbacks over the opening 2 quarters. That came while recording an average time to throw of 4.35 seconds in the second half, more than a full second longer than his 2.88 second mark in the first half. So, yeah, I'm interested to see what that looks like. We obviously, and I get why we didn't get a lot of great replays of what the pass game looked like in the second half, but certainly like a back to the drawing board type of situation there, when it comes to what that looked like in the final 2 quarters.
Fran, I just had one more for you. What's Jaylen Carter's wingspan, and why is he the greatest kick blocker ever?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have the wingspan right in front of me, but he.
Oh, come on, man!
The first step. If you give me 1 second, I will have it. The first
Wait, are you going into the draft guide from previous years that you should become a diehard to get?
He didn't do wingspan at the combine, actually. We only did
all right. That's the big thing. Let me see real quick. Jalen Carter, he had a 81-inch wingspan, which is above average for defensive tackles drafted in the last 10 years. 33.5-inch arms, above average for defensive tackles drafted in the last 10 years.
Why is he so good at it?
I mean, because he's so explosive and powerful off the ball. You get that initial penetration, and it's a game of inches at that point. That's a whole big part of it. Are you able to get that initial penetration inside? That's the shortest path of the ball.
Can you recall an Eagle that's been a better kick blocker than him? I can't off the top of my head.
Yeah, off the top of my head, no, I don't think so. I mean, he's gotten his hands on how many balls the last couple of years?
I mean, they blocked really one against the Bills at the link 2 years ago or last year. He did it against the Rams earlier this year. It's unbelievable.
He's a great player. So, great to see. Like, all right, he's back out in the field. He looks healthy. That will be important for this team in the stretch run. We saw what he did in the playoffs last year. Like, they don't go to the Super Bowl without him against the Rams in that divisional round a year ago.
All right, Fran. We will get much more from you on tomorrow's PHLY Eagles show at 2:00. We'll bring in the snappies and all that good stuff. We look forward to hearing what you learn. What are you most looking forward to seeing when you turn on the All-22?
The defense. I'm excited to watch the defense. That'll be first thing, and I would imagine I'm gonna try and keep my keep the analysis, keep the screen grabs to the defense tomorrow. So we'll see how it goes.